Do not attempt to adjust your set. This is a streaming freedom video bulletin. It cannot be stopped, and it is the only free voice left on the net. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today's Skyrim mod showcase on the PS4 is a special one that is all the thanks of mod author aurllcooljay, who is kind enough to pretty much make this mod as per a question that I had. I didn't expect you to actually make a mod. I really appreciate that you went above and beyond. Thank you so much. I was just wondering if you had one to do what we're going to be taking a look at here, and that was a way to stop SERANA from using her necromancy power to reanimate dead bodies as you have her as a follower. So anybody that journeyed with SERANA any length of time knows how she loves to raise anything and everything that is near her during a battle. At one time, I think she even raised a cow, if I recall. And while I don't mind her doing that on occasion, if I'm in a part of, like, say, a story where there's a body and it's kind of laid out telling a story as to what happened to it, it kind of makes it hard to find out what's going on if the body is getting up and running around all over the place. Now, on PS4 at least, there didn't really seem to be too many. I only found one mod that claimed to remove her necromancy from her leveled list, but when I tried it, at least in my experience, it did not work, and she still used necromancy just as much as she always had. That is where this mod aims to change that by mod author aurllcooljay. So with that said, let's take a look at how to find this mod. So this mod can currently be found in the latest category. You might notice it, at least on my screen, the name's a little messed up. Not certain why that's been happening in my game, but in any case, you can type in aurllcooljay to the search bar, then scroll all the way down, and what you're looking for is located right here. The name of the mod is SERANA Doesn't Use Necromancy. It is by mod author aurllcooljay, and this would be the first version of the mod. The mod description reads, "Made on request." Yeah, and I know whose request. Mine. Again, thank you, Aurll. I really appreciate that. This causes SERANA to stop using necromancy spells. This was achieved in a way that didn't make any actual changes to the NPC. I created a quest that added an ability to her that constantly drained magicka. Her life-drained spells don't cost magicka, but her other spells do. So I also added no magicka versions of the other spells, except the reanimate spell, of course. Did just a little testing on PC, but it seems to be working as intended, although by the looks of it, SERANA doesn't want to cast spells as much as she normally does. Because the mod doesn't make changes to SERANA, you don't have to worry about it conflicting with other mods, except for mods that give her spells that cost magicka. And I will be testing it here on the PS4 side of things. Also, let me real quickly show you and the viewers exactly where I will be placing it in my load order in case that makes a difference. So I am currently testing SERANA Doesn't Use Necromancy at the very bottom of the load order. It is in the next to last slot in my load order. So one thing that I do want to point out that Aurll's mod description stated the way that he got this to work was by constantly draining her magicka. That's why her other spells don't cost anything now, but her necromancy does, is because I have an item conveniently enough that might conflict with that I've given to my followers like Lydia and SERANA and Ayla, which is here from a different mod. This gives her infinite magicka, stamina, health, and carry weight. So I am going to test her with this to see if she can use it, but I'm assuming they're probably going to conflict. If I find that she's raising bodies, I'll take it from her. I'll still take it from her anyways a little later on to see how she does without it, because most of you, if you download this, aren't going to have that particular charm for her. But in any case, if you're wondering why he had to do it that way, I'm no expert, of course, but in my research trying to find out why the other mod wasn't working, I know that with PC they have some mods that can remove her necromancy or ask her to stop using it, but they're allowed external scripts. And since we aren't here on PS4, at least the way I understand it from what I read, is that when they made changes trying to stop her from using it, she somehow reverts those changes and would still use it anyways, which I'm assuming is going on with the other mod. So I had to ask him if it was possible to raise her necromancy so high that she wouldn't want to cast it, and I guess this was how he had to do it, because obviously, you know, he knows a lot more than I do. But if you're wondering why her magic is being drained, blame me, because I'm the one that asked about the possibly raising the magicka. It might be the only way, but in any case, her other vanilla spells shouldn't be, and we'll be seeing in the video as we get into battles if they still work. She should still cast them, but I can't guarantee if you have modded spells for her how those may be affected, so please keep that in mind. My SERANA has vanilla spells. And here we go with the third time that I'm probably wasting my time talking through this for you guys, because you're never going to see it. And that is because I can't find nobody to fucking attack me. Any other time, yeah, finally. So you guys know how, like, when I'm trying to showcase a player home or whatever, everything out of the damn woodwork, including the kitchen sink, comes to attack me? Yeah, I haven't hardly been able to find a group of enemies that they don't wipe out within a split second, so I don't see if she's going to take the time to reanimate. Normally she reanimates whatever's dead, like, right away, so I'm assuming she would here, but I want to find, like, a group of enemies, and I can't find any. The usual places, for whatever reason, they're not spawning. So, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this or not, but I guess I'll keep talking through it in case, and in any rate... Oh, shit! Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Fuck. One thing that I've noticed is that, at least in my experience, SERANA is still using her other spells, which is good. Just as much as she always does, as you can see right here. At least my SERANA favors that lightning strike and that ice AoE attack that she uses, which normally gets her and the other followers fighting. And she's still using them just as much. Now, one thing that could possibly be affecting her using those other spells is that charm, so I'm going to go ahead, actually, and take that from her right now.
Let's see what you have.
We'll see. She hasn't tried using necromancy with it, though, which is kind of what I was wondering about, but let's see how she does without it. I'm going to go ahead and... because now I guess I have to keep this section in here, but I'm going to cut to when we can find a bunch of enemies, so I'll be back with you guys in a bit. Okay, there's a few of them. Let's see if I can narrow them down to where SERANA's at. I don't know if she'd have to be... usually I think she just reanimates them wherever the hell she's at, but she's kind of staying away from them right now when they're attacking. Definitely seems to be more enemies up here, though, so... you would think she'd reanimate somebody if she's going to.
You think I'm afraid of you?
In any case... I've definitely been seeing her using, again, without the charm, she's still using her ice and lightning attacks just as much. I've been seeing her use her vampiric drain a little bit. So this is pretty much the way my SERANA always fights. I don't know, you know, because people have her modded differently how theirs might, so that's why I'm putting it that way for purposes of my testing. Because again, Arl said in his testing on PC, what he tested of it, that she didn't really seem like she used her magic as much. But I can say from my testing here, she's always doing this. This is the way she fights in my game. I'm surprised actually she's not there she goes. Using that ice one as much, and I'm kinda just standing here and letting them hit me. Since I have that Triforce ring, but I want to see if she's near her body. I would think she would reanimate, because normally anything she's near, that would be, you know, she'll reanimate one of them with the necromancy. So, damn. So, she's definitely, I think it's working. I still want to test it more and stuff, but I definitely think this is working. She hasn't revived anybody yet, so that's great. Okay guys, so I decided to test something. I don't think having Lydia or Ayla with us would be the reason why she wouldn't be using necromancy. Normally she would. But in any case, just in case, I thought I'd go ahead and test sending them off and just having SERANA with me. And previously in the footage that you will be seeing in this video, SERANA was in multiple follower slot 1 when I was testing. However, I took her out of that and placed her in the normal vanilla follower slot where Lydia was at. So like if you were playing vanilla without NFS, she's in the normal slot, so we'll see. Go ahead and kill one, try to draw this one over there. She keeps using her spells at long distance like that, so I don't know if she would need to be near one to go ahead and be tempted to reanimate them or not. I don't really pay attention when we're fighting, I just always notice the aftermath that we'll have one running around. But in any case, that's why I kind of decided to come here, because I know there are enemies in this ship. It's a small enclosed area, so I figure I can go in there, piss them off, kill one, and then see if she reanimates them. Also, something that I want to point out, because I do know I will be using this section. I remember there are enemies in this, and this is enclosed space, so it should be fine. But some of you might be wondering, I'm not trying to stretch the video out. I have a feeling this could be a long one, but you may wonder why I don't just show like 1 or 2 battles, and if she doesn't raise anything, call it a day. It's not because I'm trying to stretch out the viewing time or anything like that, but the other mod that I mentioned that I tested her with that was supposed to, didn't get his attention, that was supposed to remove necromancy from her leveled list. When I first installed that mod, for a couple of the battles that I had tested with it for a potential showcase, she didn't revive anything. But later on I found that she did. So, for one, I do want to be, I know Arl tested this in physically on PC, but it may act differently here on PS4. And I want to be thorough for both him in the testing of it, as well as you, the viewer, if this is something that you might be interested in downloading, so that you get a good idea of how it works. So I am going to show several battles, but I do apologize for the length of time, but I want to be thorough for, everybody, for you, the viewer, as well as Arl, in the testing of this mod. See if we can get him to come up here by the other body. SERANA, you went right by him.
Who's there?
He had to hit her for her to realize that he was there. Yeah, they're not going to come up here, are they? Actually, I'll teleport her up here by me. I don't know if she'd have to be close by that body, but it might tempt her. Again, I haven't seen her in the testing of this mod, and she doesn't have the charm anymore, but even when she did, I haven't seen her try to reanimate anything. She does fight using her spells and stuff like she always does. She's rarely been using her vampiric grip, but actually that's the way she's been in my game, because for the longest time I didn't even remember that she had that spell, and when I was testing something else I actually thought that was modded from something. I forgot that she had it because that's how little she uses it, and that is actually what we want to see in the testing of this, because this mod is only supposed to make it to where she doesn't revive any dead bodies with necromancy, but she should still act completely the same in every other regard, and in my experience this is exactly the way she always is. So this is exactly what we want to see with this mod. But that was the last enemy in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find one more place, and I don't know, I might do more testing than this, but I'll try to save like one more really good area for you guys and go ahead and finish this, because I don't know how long this will be. I don't know what I'll be keeping, what I'll be cutting, but I'll be back with you guys in a bit. Okay, so according to Eagle Vision, it looks like there are several enemies up there. I see a couple already. I think that's Forsworn. So I'm going to go ahead. I've tested a few other areas, but there weren't many enemies. I'm not going to include that. But this is kind of what I was looking for, where there are like several enemies up here. So I could get her to come up closer to them. But I'm pretty much going to call this, well, that ain't all of them, is it? They're still on the map. Where are they at? They must have ran. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I thought I saw more of them before I started to go ahead and shoot this. Any case, I'm pretty much going to call this a success at this point. I would think if she's going to reanimate, either I've killed just a couple to test that and let her do the rest, and she hasn't tried to reanimate anything. And I would think by now she would if she's going to, so I do believe the mod is working as intended. She simply doesn't reanimate them, but she fights them completely the way she does normally in my game otherwise. I noticed that she has that vampiric grip on her hand, but again, she's not using it too much. But like right there, I would think this is why I wanted to have an area where a bunch of enemies was at. Normally, she would have reanimated that body that she was right next to as the fight continued, and she isn't. So I'm pretty much gonna call this a success. This has definitely been a much more successful test than the previous one, the other mod that I've tried. Submits, but he's coming to attack me. Looks like this one's touching quite a few of your hits, so I may have to kill him myself. Nope, she got, damn. Home run. SERANA, where are you going? I think that's all of them. SERANA. Is there somebody left? There, let me use Eagle Vision again and we'll see. Oh, there is. Yeah, hiding over here, were you? Oh, she got him. Yeah, in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and say, at least in my testing of this on PS4 Skyrim Special Edition, that it's working just fine. It's working as intended. She simply isn't using necromancy to revive anybody, but still fighting the same as the other. And again, please keep in mind though, if you have mods that changes and gives her different spells because of the way this mod works, it could conflict or cause her not to use them. But that's just something that you would have to test. But I want to give a very special thank you again to aurllcooljay. I really appreciate the time that you put into doing this, and that you did this. Again, I was just asking if you had something like this. I didn't expect you to actually make something for me and for the viewers, so I really appreciate that. And a link to Aurl's YouTube channel will be in the description box down below, so definitely drop by if you're going to use this mod and give him a thanks. He definitely deserves it. In any case, thank you for taking the time to watch the video, and thank you again to aurllcooljay. And actually, that's a great, I think I'll use that for a thumbnail. Take care. This has been a Streaming Freedom Video Bulletin. Peace out.